All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Property Source and Success Show. Today we are video free because my Wi-Fi is not playing ball. So I'm sitting here in my kitchen this morning having a coffee. And look, I want to tackle a topic that's been floating around a lot lately. I've seen a lot of, dare I use the word, gurus, property educators, trainers, even investors themselves saying, look, the UK market is getting tighter. The UK property market is getting squeezed. Now is not a good time to invest. Now, here's the reality. If you're listening to this and you are an investor, well, that probably plants a seed of doubt in your mind. Should I hold off? Should I wait till things get a bit easier? Should I wait until the market softens a bit? Now, on the flip side of that, if you're listening to this podcast and you're a property sourcer, if you run a portfolio building business, if you're a deal packager, you might start panicking. Well, if there's no one buying, how the am I supposed to sell deals? So what I want to do in today's episode is I want to break it down properly, right? I want to give you both sides of the coin. I want to give you both sides of the argument, and I'll explain why some people are saying it's a bad time. And then I want to give you my take on why this market, as it stands today, we're coming into September 2025. I want to talk about why I believe right now it's actually one of the best times to get in. But this is really critical. It's the best time to get in. It's the best time to grow. It's the best time to scale if you approach it in the right way. Now, let's break it down. Why are people saying it's not a good time right now? And to be clear, I see this a lot. I can't help but open my phone, and if I'm scrolling through Instagram, there's these reels popping up of notoriously big named property gurus, ironically, who are running property education firms, telling you actually now is not a great time to get into property. Here's what you should do instead. Why don't you try and start an online business? Now, let's be fair first, because people saying this, they're not making it up. Right? There's some truth to this. The first one being interest rates. Now, since 2022, the Bank of England's base rate has been high. Right? That means mortgage rates are high. So if you're used to buying at 2 or 3%, you're now looking at 5 or 6%, maybe more. That'll eat into your yield. That makes, for example, buy, refurbish, refinances tighter. And it definitely knocks some would have been deals off the table. Then we've got stricter lending, right? Lenders are stress testing at silly levels, right? Sometimes 8% or above, which means if the rent covers the mortgage, the lender still won't give you what you want. So for leveraged investors, it actually can be very frustrating. And then look, there's the usual stuff. You've got your taxes, your regulations. Yes, Section 24 still hurts. Yes, mortgage relief is gone. So if you're a highly geared landlord, you're going to feel the pinch. Then you've got the energy efficiency, EPC changes, the rental reform. So it looks like there's a lot of headache for landlords. Competition for good stock, the so-called, dare I say it, BMV deal is harder to find. You've got funds, you've got build to rent operators, you've got cash buyers who are snapping up that kind of stuff. So sourcers can feel the pinch here too, but fewer obvious discounts, and it's given tighter margins in some aspects. In my mind, mindset is probably the biggest issue here. When people see headlines screaming that the market is tightening, it's softening, mortgage rates are maybe up a little bit, new taxes, new laws, new legislations, they tend to freeze. And when people freeze, they justify it by saying, now is not a good time. So yeah, I get it. Investors are cautious. Sourcers are cautious. Sourcers see investors sitting on their hands. And that's why you hear this narrative. But there is another side to the coin here. And this is the bit that you won't see shouted about as much. And it's opportunity. And this is important. Let's be clear. Let's be really clear here for a second. Rental demand is off the charts. I'm going to say that again, because I know that you know this is true. Rental demand is off the charts. Every single agent that I speak to says the same thing. Too many tenants, not enough stock. Rents are at record highs, guys. So if you own or you source good rental properties in a strong area, it's getting filled. That has not changed. In fact, take that back. Scratch. It has changed. It's stronger than it's ever been. Cash is king. It's another way to look at this. So there are investors out there sitting on cash who absolutely love this market because leveraged investors are hesitating. Cash-rich investors can pick up stock that others can't. Now, this is important if you are sourcing, deal packaging, portfolio building. By the way, all one and the same thing. If you are doing that as a means of earning an income, as a means of boosting your cash flow, these investors sitting on cash, they are your dream clients right now. To be perfectly honest, they're your dream clients year round, no matter the season. But if you haven't been working with these types of investors up until this point, now is the time to target your marketing, your messaging, your conversations towards cash keen investors. Why else is there a bit of opportunity? Well, here's the frank reality. The amateurs are leaving, which is bye-bye, right? The amateurs are going. See ya, sayonara, right? Every cycle, when things get tough, guys, the amateurs pack up and which is fantastic. So that's true for both landlords and for sourcers. And the good news is, for those of us who stick it out, there's less noise, there's less competition, and there's more credibility for the actual professionals. The fourth reason why I think that actually this is an opportunity cycle is you're in a better negotiating position. So if you're active, motivated sellers will talk to you. Estate agents will remember your name, and this is critical. And you must have a system. This is a bit of a side note, but you must have a system in place in your property business that ensures that agents know your name. Like, that goes without saying. Because when everybody else is dithering and dathering and are we doing it? Are we not doing it? You're actually buying or bringing buyers. Strong, strong, strong position to be in. And number 5, cycles create wealth. Right, look back through history. The people who have made the biggest moves weren't buying in the boom years. They were buying when everybody else was backing off. They were buying when everybody else was nervous. They were buying when everybody else was wondering, will we do it? Will we not? Tight markets always create opportunities for those who keep going. So is it harder? Well, yes, but harder doesn't mean worse. In fact, harder means the easy wins are gone. And that is where the real professionals step up and shine. If you are doing this to get rich quick, you're gone. And this is super, super important. But if you're in this to build long-term cash flow, if you're in this to build long-term wealth, if you're in this to build a sustainable, profitable property business, now is your time. So what does it mean if you're an investor right now? Well, look, if you're an investor and you're listening to this podcast, my advice is don't sit in the sidelines waiting for the perfect moment. Don't sit and wait until all the ducks are in a row. The ducks will never be in a row. There is no perfect moment. I want you to get clear on your numbers and work with people who know how to source, who know how to structure deals, and focus on the fundamentals, right? It's really that simple. Focus on the simple things. Strong area, strong tenant demand, more than one exit strategy. And if you're not going to pick up a screaming, 30% discounted property off Rightmove tomorrow, you're not going to do that. But you absolutely can pick up a solid cash flowing, sustainable asset that will add to your wealth if you buy right. What does it mean if you're a sourcer? So if you're out there, you're listening to this podcast, and I assume that if you are listening to this podcast, it's because you are sourcing on behalf of investors, or you are growing and scaling your own portfolio and you are looking to work with investors and so on. If you're a sourcer, stop listening to people who say there are no deals. They're talking. There are deals. They're just not falling into your lap anymore. So you need to work harder. You need to work smarter. You need to build agent relationships. You need to get creative. Focus your marketing on the positives. So while your competitors in your areas are saying that's not a good time, you should be the one saying, well, actually, now is a very opportunistic time, and here's how we make it work. This is important. Position yourself as the professional who filters through all the noise and only brings investors the right opportunities. Investors don't want excuses. They want solutions. This market, guys, is where you will earn your stripes as a sourcer. This is where you will get paid well for what you do. So if you can thrive in a tighter market, when it loosens again, dominate. So wrapping it up, guys. Yeah, the market is tighter. Yes, borrowing is harder. Yes, regulations are tougher. Yes, competition is fierce on occasion, but those same conditions are the exact opportunity that exists for people who are serious. If you are an investor, don't be scared of the noise. I am still investing. I am still buying properties. I am still adding to our portfolio, because I'm working with the right people, because I'm buying smart, because we're setting ourselves up for long-term wins. If you're an investor, you need to be doing the same. If you are sourcing, this is the time to raise your game. So when everybody else is complaining, you should be the one in your area, on your patch, finding, structuring, presenting deals that work in today's conditions. And the truth is, guys, every cycle, wealth moves from the sidelines to the people who are playing on the pitch. And the only question that I have for you is, are you going to sit this out, or are you actually going to get in the game? I hope this has been useful, guys. As always, if it has been, tag me, share. There are actionable steps that you can take here in today's Property Sourcing Success Show podcast. Listening to this is all well and good, but if you're not listening and actually taking the steps that I give you week in and week out and implementing them into your business, then it's all for nothing. I hope this has been useful, guys, and I'll catch you on next week's episode.